In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace your window regulator in your Ford Expedition. It's located behind your driver's side door. We're going to start with the window motor deinitialization procedure. To do that, you're going to start with the ignition key in the run position and then open the front door. Steps 2 and 3 must be performed within 8 seconds. Turn the ignition key from off to run 5 times. Press the window control switch to the 1 touch down position, the second detent, and release. Now you can shut your key off, and we're ready to remove our window regulator. I'm going to remove this panel, little flap, set it aside, and use a 7mm socket to remove the bolt. Pick this up. You're going to use the same size socket, 7mm, to remove these bolts. Set those aside. Remove this by sticking a flathead screwdriver and bending that back, and use a Phillips head to remove this screw. You can remove the whole thing and put it aside. I'm going to be using a 7mm socket, and I'm going to take out these 2 bolts at the bottom of the door panel. Now we're going to pop this out. Use a trim tool. You're going to have to move your door handle out and take it out. Slide a trim tool underneath this corner and pull out and unpop it from the door. Once you're done doing that, you've got to lift up on the panel and pull it off. Now we're going to disconnect our switch connectors, push in on the tab and pull down. You may have to wiggle them a little bit. So there's a tab on this side. Got another one here. And the push tab is on the other side for this one. Now I'm going to set this off to the side so I can get to that last one. Push in on this and disconnect it like that. Now we can put this off to the side. Now we're going to plug our switch back in. The blue one's for the auto buttons, and the green one's for the other one. And then we're going to be able to move the window up and down if needed. Now we're going to remove our water barrier here. There is some sticky stuff, so just try to keep it on the panel itself. You might need something to help you remove it. If it rips, you're just going to have to tape it. Now just feed the wires through. You can set your waterproof panel off to the side. Remove the 4 bolts for your speaker using a 7mm socket. Pull it out, and you can either set it off to the side or unplug it. I'm going to unplug mine, just get it out of the way. Lift your window up using your switch, put the key on. Lift your window up until about here, so you can reach these 2 bolts. Now we're going to loosen up this bolt. And also the one on the other side. I'm using a 10mm socket to do that, and an extension. Now we're going to move our window up, tape it up, and then lower the window regulator down without the window. Okay, so we're going to tape it up in that position. Now that you have your window taped up, we're going to turn the key on and lower the regulator down without the window attached. Now we're going to remove some bolts to remove the regulator and motor out of the vehicle. Using a 10mm socket, let's begin. I've taken a yellow crayon and just marked where all the bolts were and where the rest are that I'm taking out. I'm comparing it next to the new part. So let's take out the rest. Now we're going to take our plug out of our motor and disconnect our door handle. Push it on that tab right here and then pull the cord off. We're going to remove our door handle and disconnect our plug and take the harness out of the plastic grommets. Start here. You may need a trim tool to get this one out. Remove this connector. Now we can remove our door handle. To do that, you're going to pry it out there. After you've unhooked this, you're going to take a little trim tool and pry that up and pull this out. Set that off to the side. You'll be hooking that into the new one. All right, so now we're going to use a T20 Torx bit and take out these 2 bolts. Remove the other bolt too. And we're going to set this aside to reinstall on the new one. Now we're going to pull this out. If you haven't done so already, use a trim tool, pull it out. We're going to remove this and also transfer this over. I'm using a T20 again. Now we're going to continue to remove the rest of the harness and get it ready to take this out completely. You're going to have to pinch these, push it through. You can use pliers or your fingers. Usually you can just use your fingers. Let's unhook it from here. Now you have a big open space to take the rest of it out. I'm just going to hang up my harness over here and unhook it from there and hang that up as well. That'll just keep everything out of the way while we take out our regulator. So now we're going to take it out. To do that, I'm going to drop it down. So push it this way. Pick it up by here. And you can take it out. Now we're going to insert our new one. Just make sure your wires aren't in the way. And start lining everything up. I'm going to begin by lining up my holes and putting in the 2 bottom metal bracket ones. So this one and this one. There's one here, one here. I'm just getting them started. I'm not worried about tightening them down yet. And then we're going to go for the other 2 for the metal brackets, and that's this one and this one. Just feed your harness through where you found it. I'm going to put my harness on the outside here because it doesn't fit through this crack. It should be fine there. And we'll attach our door handle. Now we're going to install our door handle. Feed it in. Line it up with that hole in the bottom. Push it in. And it's locked in. Now we're going to pull back on this cable and push it into its clip. You might need a pair of pliers just to pinch that in there. The regulator comes with 2 new clips. You're going to slide those in. And we're going to reinstall this in this hole. Just go back and forth until it's tightened down. Now we're going to put our harness here. And this one here. Put this metal cover back on. Tighten those down. Now let's start plugging our things in. Make sure you lock it in after it's in place. You can plug in your motor. Now that we have our things back on and our harness situated where it's going to go, I'm going to continue to put the rest of my bolts in. So we're just going to get them started. It makes it easier if you did mark your door where the bolts were with the yellow crayon like I did. If you find that your clips fall down behind the door handle, you just got to squeeze them together a little bit and then feed it back through where it was. And then you'll have something to screw into. Once you have your clips back in there, we're going to get our there's 2 long bolts. We'll start those in there. Now we're going to start tightening these down. I'm going to start with the metal ones first, the metal bracket ones. And then these 2. Now we're going to torque these 4 bolts to 97 inch-pounds. Plug this in, and now we're going to put our key on, and we're going to lower our regulator until we can see our 2 bolts, and we're going to make sure those are loose. So just loosen them up if they're not loose already, and that's going to allow this to spread and grab that window up top. Now we're going to go up with the window regulator and try to catch this window. Make sure that you're lined up correctly. And if you are, you can release your window with the tape. We're going to lower our regulator down so we can loosen up the bolts to make sure that when it goes up, it grabs onto the window. So push your window down. And then you might have to go up a little bit. Just watch your fingers. Make sure it's in there good. And now we're going to tighten up this bolt once we get to a place where we can reach it. So you may have to lower it down after it's grabbed onto the window. Make sure it's seated in there properly. The old window should have marks on it for the previous regulator. Make sure your window is seated in there properly and there's enough of the window in the clamp. It shouldn't go any further once you get it all the way down. You may have to loosen these up more to let the window go down, and make sure you check both sides. Once you're there, you're going to tighten them up and torque it to 97 inch-pounds. Now we're going to test our window. And go back up. And go back down. Looking good. We're going to shut our key off and put the rest of the door panel back together. We're going to feed our harness behind. Pull them out and then plug in our speaker. Make sure you hear the click when you plug them in. Line up your speaker with the bolt holes and tighten it in there. This should be 4 silver screws with a Torx bit head. Snug them up. Now we're going to put our plastic grommets in the door panel. With the other regulator, this harness was behind, but because it doesn't fit through there, we're just going to let it rest there. And now we're going to unplug our window. Since we don't need the switch anymore. Just push in the tabs, pull them out. And we're going to get our foam and put that back. So let's put our waterproofing on, our foam. Start lining it up where it goes. Line up these little indents for the hooks for the door panel. The more this is lined up, the easier it is to install the door panel. Now we're going to put our switch back in our door panel. Make sure you have it lined up correctly for these right here, and just snap it in. Now we can put our door panel on the door. Connect your connectors, make sure you hear them click. This one has a lock, so make sure that lock is put in. Again, make sure all your connectors are secure and they don't fall out. Give them a little tug. We're going to feed our door lock through the hole and our handle. Once you can see it, you're going to push in and slide down. And the door panel should hook in. Make sure you're flush all the way around. Now you can snap this on the top. And we're going to begin to put our screws back in. We're at the bottom of the door panel. And we're going to put our screws in. Just going to start them by hand first. Make sure that they're lined up. And tighten them down. Make sure your little plastic holder is in there. And tighten it down. Now we're going to put our door handle panel on, slide it in, and snap it in. And now we're going to put a bolt in here. Our cap cover thing came off, so we're just going to put it back in. Now you're going to put your 2 screws in here. Once you get your screws in, and tighten them down. And put your flap down. Now we're going to do window motor initialization. To do that, you're going to start with the door open and the key off. Turn the ignition key in the on position. Activate and hold the window control switch in the 1 touch down position, the second detent, until the window glass stalls for 2 seconds at the bottom of its travel, and release the switch. Release the switch. Wait 3 seconds before operating the window control switch or ignition switch. Activate and hold the window control switch when no interruptions in the 1 touch up position, second detent, until the window glass stalls for 2 seconds into the glass top run, and release the switch. Verify correct operation of the window by carrying out the 1 touch up and 1 touch down feature. All right, so as is working, yours should be too.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.